Hello there, fellow lovable and powerful diva. Kathy Hamilton here, founder of HappyTappyGirl.com, home of Diva Nation. And this video, I want to talk a little bit about more pressures directed specifically at college students who might be questioning that they are not in the right field of study and that they're going to have to change majors or something that seems a bit drastic. And this is something that's pretty common because, I mean, it's challenging whenever you set down a path. As you're going down that path, you may have been certain that this was the absolute best thing for you. And then as you move closer to it, you're thinking, I am not quite so sure. And then it gets scary, especially if you've invested a lot of time. And also, if switching your major requires pretty much, you can't take the credits with you into a different major. It's not like just a little tweak. It might be more major of a change. And so what I want you to do, and this is something really, really simple, is I want you to allow yourself to say, nope, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is not the path that I want, not the major for me. I'm going to quit. And I just want you to stop and take notice of how that feels. And you might feel this sense of like, oh, thank God. I don't know if I could stand this for another minute. And if that's the case, then yes, you may want to contemplate switching to a different field of study. You might already know what that is. And again, also then give yourself permission to say, nope, I'm not going to switch majors. I'm going to do exactly what I set out to do and see how you feel that way. And again, you might feel relief, or you might think, well, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm just scared. But regardless of what you're feeling, it's really important to give yourself permission to always say no to it. Even if you think this is the most wonderful thing in the world for you, just kind of checking in with yourself from time to time to see if you are still on the right path. And even if you do feel that sense of relief, but it still feels like, okay, but there's something pulling you, but I still want to do it. That's okay. Because sometimes all that means is that you realize once you get down the road, you're a little further in, it's hard. And challenges don't always feel good. And being uncomfortable doesn't always feel good. And it's always testing our identity and what we allow ourselves to believe we can actually accomplish, what we can actually be. Or it might also mean that you still want to do that same thing, that remain in that same field of study, but maybe you do just want to tweak it a little bit. Maybe you want to go in a slightly different direction. So it doesn't have to be a full-on, oh my God, I've changed this entire thing and now I've got this clusterfuck basically because I don't know what to do. I've invested all this time, I've invested all this money, oh no. And then maybe it doesn't have to be so drastic. And it might also open you up to what you want for your minor and not just your major. And also just some areas that you might be interested in and just exploring a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with exploration either. And there's also nothing wrong with staying the course of where you're currently at while you're figuring it out. And always remembering too that we change. So what may seem like a good thing or a bad thing right now, in a week, 2 weeks, even a month or a couple months, may actually flip however we're feeling about it. And that's okay. And again, always remembering this goes back to our identity and just being uncomfortable and learning how to be a little bit more comfortable when you are uncomfortable. And just allowing things to play out and realizing oh my God, I don't have to make this a life or death decision. It doesn't have to be so black and white. Life's one big gray area. And I know that makes most of us unhappy because we like to know exactly that what we're doing is the right thing and it's not always 100% clear. So just getting a little bit more comfortable in that gray. And again, just always going back to use that no power of yours, say no to it, see how you feel, and then just explore what might be behind it. You know, are you relieved because you really don't want to do it, or are you relieved because it's a little scary, or it's a lot scary, or there's just a lot of pressure and it feels a little bit different than you thought that it was going to? Because all that's okay. It's all just part of the human experience. Truthfully, it's part of the college experience. It is exploratory at this particular age in your life. Like, we kind of go in these like 20-year increments of change and identity, where we're kind of like working towards it. But you know, when you're in your like late teens, early 20s, you're just kind of coming off of being under your parents and kind of their mode of operation, and learning that you've got your own mode of operation. And it all gets very, very uncomfortable. So just, you know, take a breath, give yourself permission to say no, and also just be like, you know, hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing the best I can, and it's confusing, and nothing about this is life or death. It's all okay, even when it doesn't feel like it, and it feels like everything's going to hell in a handbasket. So, hope that was helpful, and I will be with you again soon. Bye. Love you.